Well, it is certainly no secret that the color pink is associated with breast cancer awareness. We see it on the football field every October. There are pink pins, pink ribbons, pink bracelets, pink buttons.
Let's add a few other things: a pink helmet, a pink fire suit, and a pink car. They belong to 31-year-old Indy race car driver Pippa Mann, who, just like so many breast cancer survivors, is breaking boundaries. She wears a pink helmet and a pink fire suit, drives a pink car, and she's ranked the fastest woman in history.
You're going 230 miles an hour and you're sideways. So you'd better be pretty good at your job.
Pippa Mann is the first female to win a pole position at the Indianapolis 500. Racing is in her soul. She's trained much of her life just to get here.
My first one was still the most special because, it's your first Indy 500. It has to be the most special.
This is what it looks like to race around a track at 230 miles per hour. Pippa knows that power.
It's a brute. It's a big car that you have to manhandle around. It doesn't have any power steering. And, you've just got to be really strong with it. And at a place like this, you've also got to have a lot of finesse.
Pippa began her racing career at 13 in Europe. She gradually climbed the ranks. In 2011, Pippa qualified for the Indy 500 and became the first British female to make it into the 500-mile race. Part of her rise to this level included the Indy Light Series,
which is the equivalent of college football to the NFL. I'm actually one of only two female race winners ever in that series.
Not an easy task. Female race drivers are scarce, and respect for them even scarcer.
But that didn't stop me believing I could do it. It was kind of the other way around, and anyone who did show you any respect stood out like a sore thumb. So that's one of the reasons I really enjoy racing in the U.S.
She says guys in America acknowledge her skill on the track, but it was something inside that helped propel her across the finish line.
Chasing your dreams, it's always tough, it's never easy, and just be determined and don't give up. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it.
She also surrounds herself with a supportive team. And Pippa is now with Dale Coyne Racing and has partnered with Susan G. Komen Race for a cure for breast cancer. In the beginning, she admits pink's not her favorite color.
It didn't signify having hard edges and sharp elbows, and those are all things you need in a race car.
But now she knows.
It's a color of toughness, determination, and it's a color for fighters. It's a color for people who have courage.
Pippa says no matter the road, know where you're headed and don't let any roadblocks stop you.
You just have to be really, really determined.
And you'll cross the finish line a winner. Pippa says her biggest challenge is raising money to continue racing. She says she will keep going as long as she has the help of sponsors.
That is one tough woman. And it's good to hear her talk about the toughness of those who are battling breast cancer.
There are so many people, both men and women, in that position. Studies show about 1 in 8 women will develop invasive breast cancer. For men, their risk of developing breast cancer is about 1 in 1,000. And we're honored to have 2 survivors with us today. Connie Holdridge is also the Delaware Breast Cancer Coalition's Program Manager of Education and Survivorship in Sussex County. And Jerry Coble is an event chair of the Coalition's Southern Lights of Life Masquerade Ball. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Jerry, let's start with you. Take us back to when you were diagnosed.
About 5 years ago, I went in for a routine screening, and the technology had changed. They had upgraded to the digital mammography. It was, it's at that time again. I can just kind of, float on in, and it's no big deal. Much to my surprise, I was called back, and the radiologist came out, sat down, and said, we're going to refer you to a surgeon. I see some new imaging that wasn't there the last time. It turned out to be stage 0 cancer, and it was caught literally at the size of 3 grains of sand.
Wow.
So I am a huge proponent of making sure that I encourage women to go in and get the annual screenings and follow through and don't miss them, because my outcome could have been much worse. I could have landed up with much greater, bigger surgery and more advanced treatment of the disease, because it could have been a lot worse. So I'm very, very fortunate.
Yes, sir.
Jerry, thank you for sharing that story.
You're welcome.
Connie, take us back to when you were diagnosed? What happened?
Well, it was 2001,
Yeah.
and I was 46. I had my kids at home, and I just went for my regular mammogram because my doctor said you have to go. So I did. But it never occurred to me that there would be anything more than going in and out and going home. And my doctor called me, and he said, we found something, and we want to do a biopsy. And I still didn't get it. I didn't quite understand. I went ahead and did the biopsy, but it just didn't occur to me that it would be anything more than nothing,
Right.
because I was so young. And when the doctor told me that it was cancer, I lost it. I completely, my mind went blank. I remember thinking, it's my birthday, and you know that this is my birthday. Why would you do that? But it's a horribly scary thing to be told that you have a potentially life-threatening disease.
How did your family take the news?
Well, my husband was terrified. My mother lived with us, and I was her caregiver. She got angry because she was sure that I was going to die in 6 months, and then there would be nobody to take care of her. So that was not a good thing. Obviously, I didn't die in 6 months. I'm still here 14 years later. But it is a very stressful, mentally challenging situation.
And you really didn't have anybody to reach out to at the time.
I did not. The only people that I knew of at that particular point in time that had breast cancer had both died of breast cancer.
So you had no one to reach out to.
I did not, and I felt very alone. I felt very isolated. I didn't feel like I was getting a lot of information.
Right.
And one of the ladies at church has a support group, and she said, come to our support group. And they became my family, my support, because talking to somebody that has been there is just so much different than talking with somebody who can empathize, but they don't really understand what's going on inside.
And Jerry, you know, you had the surgery and everything, and you got back to work. It really was tough. Those times after that, wasn't it?
It was very tough. I am one of these people that think that I need to race back to work as quickly as possible. And after my surgery, I developed there was a question with a minor complication, and I wasn't sure who I could turn to. And someone had told me about the Delaware Breast Cancer Coalition and that they had an office in Dover where I work. So I made an excuse and said, you know, I just have to leave and go to lunch. So I took off from the office and landed up in the office of the Delaware Breast Cancer Coalition's Dover office, and found the most giving people that could answer every question I had and could help me and mentor me to give me support, that I don't have a large family, and that they became my family.
And they understand. Now, the coalition couldn't do all this without the support of the community, right?
No, they absolutely could not.
And you've got something set up for that.
We do.
Tell us about it.
We have the 11th annual Southern Lights of Life. I'm very blessed to have been the co-chair of this event for the 4th year this year, with Dr. Michelle Dominique. It's coming up on February 28th at Dover Downs. It's a beautiful evening of living and giving, and this year we have changed the format a bit. It's going to be a masquerade ball, and we have a wonderful gourmet meal planned. We have a huge silent auction and some fantastic live auction gifts that will be up, and the proceeds from the event support the Kent and Sussex and surrounding out-of-state regional areas.
It's a great time for survivors to get together and celebrate. And the event is Saturday, February 28th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Dover Downs Hotel and Casino. 302-672-6435 for more information. For ticket information or more details on the Delaware Breast Cancer Coalition's Southern Lights of Life Masquerade Ball, go to WBOC.com. Click on our picture at the top of the page.
Tommy, Jerry, thank you.
It's always a great feeling reaching out and helping our fellow community members who are going through a tough time. But what about our four-legged friends? Up next, Catalina was found with burns covering almost her entire body. How putting her story on the internet helped save her life.
Plus, how one community came together to help this canine pup get the cancer treatments he so desperately needed.
And this police pup may look small, but boy, is his impact big. After the break, we hear about the tiniest police dog in the biz. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.